In 1976, the McCormick brothers
We're going to be the next big thing.
started the second best band.
Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno.
And I'm Andy Oliver, and we're here at the UK premiere of Killing Bono, a rock and roll comedy about two brothers trying to forge their way through the 1980s music scene.
And we've got a host of stars turning up this evening, so stay tuned to find out just who we catch.
Don't move me, I want to eat him! Here's Sugar!
But as they got better, the other band
See you on top of the pops, boys.
always had the edge.
You're looking at U2. U2? It sounds like a bleeding submarine.
I've got to ask you about Dancing on Ice, as we have to, because you've been on what I would say is a personal journey on that, wasn't it? In terms, yeah. How was it for you, the whole experience of Dancing on Ice?
It was a great experience. I never seen an ice rink before. The only time I've seen ice is on my drinks, in the bottom of my glass. And to be standing on ice and actually dancing, lifting someone in the air, it's amazing.
Did it bring out anything in you that you thought you couldn't do? Was it certainly, had you skated before you did Dancing on Ice?
I never skated before, but what he actually bring out for me as a person is what I'm capable of and what I'm not. Because since after my injury, I never test myself on that level. So it's been a real journey for me.
Do you want a Bono pin badge? Do my bollocks. Next Saturday, we'll blow them off the stage.
Hold on. Rest of the day, the Pope isn't count.
Who's going to go and see the pub?
Bollocks.
How do you think this movie's going to be come across to the general public about the 80s?
Well, listen, the bit that kind of intrigues me is just I've known Neil for quite a while now. And Neil has this remarkable ability of making me laugh out loud when I'm sitting in a room all by myself, which was exactly the reaction I had when Neil told me he was writing a book, which was exactly the reaction that I had when Neil told me somebody was thinking about making it into a film, and distinctly the reaction I had a couple of weeks ago when he sent me an invite to tonight. So I've not seen the movie yet. I've read the book. I'm totally intrigued to see what goes on, and if no other reason, to see Neil McCormick playing Neil McCormick. So ask me afterwards, but I think it may be a salutary lesson for all of us. It might have been a better career choice to become a journalist than a musician, as it transpires.
I was wondering, obviously when we were growing up, there was no Pop Idol, there was no X Factor. If you were growing up today, would you apply for something like that? Do you think you'd still have it in you to go through the music industry like that?
I'm not so sure I would go in for X Factor or anything like that, or would have done at that time, because to be honest, I really admire the people who get through to the finals, because the strain and the pressure that they are under to do that every week and learn a song or two every week and a dance routine, a whole thing, and then they're doing this all week as well, media stuff and everything. Compared to what I did, to be honest, it was a bit of a doddle what I did, really, so yeah, well there are, but there's a lot more opportunities for anyone to get their music out now as well, which is a good thing, but it just means that the internet literally is everyone's domain, isn't it? Anyone can stick something on YouTube. So on the one hand, that's great, but it's also, I think record companies are realising that, it's harder to get people's attention, I think.
What are you up to at the moment? Are you busy touring?
I'm touring in the summer. I'm going back out to Texas, so this is the first touring we'll have done in 7 years maybe, yeah.
Very quickly, Sharleen, you're involved with reality television. What do you think of reality television with the influx of Pop Idols in your show and putting somebody out there who couldn't normally get that?
You've got to remember the show that I did was like a little bit different because it was about songwriting and about musicianship. So from that angle came a little bit from a different place. But it's there's like everything, there's got to be places for everybody. Your X Factors and everything in the world. There's got to be a place for kids that are, talented musically and their voices and whatever, but they have no idea or direction of where to channel or where to go with it.
What's your problem?
I stopped diving being in the band. We want your brother on rhythm guitar. Well, you can't have him.
You too? Wow.
Well, I'm supporting Ben mainly, who I work with, was lucky enough to work with, and I've seen sort of the trailer of the film, and I'm really excited about it. I know he is, and it's just very different to anything he's done before. So I think he's really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Of course, you've been in movies about the 80s. Does it bring back any sort of memories of making the movies you've made?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that was a bit weird. I felt like, you know, when you do something like that, you feel like you really missed out on that time period. 80s is such a great time, so inspiring, and I think the costumes and the hair and the makeup in this certainly tell a lot about the 80s, yeah.
Feargal tonight, it's very busy.
I came to watch the film because I've got a free ticket.
What brings you here tonight then to see this movie?
A couple of things. Robert Sheehan, I'm a mate of, and I think he's going to be a star, Robert. I think he's brilliant. So hopefully we're going to be working together on something, but I can't talk about that till it's all official. And it's Dick Clement and Ian Lafreniere, who are obviously the best British comedy film writers ever. Sorry, Richard Curtis. I'm really sorry, Richard Curtis. Don't hold that against me if you're ever casting anything. But it's Dick Clement in the front. You know, that's it. You know, everything from The Commitments backwards. You know, Porridge. It's still hilarious. It's still to this day. You know, that is absolutely brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be great. You know, the guys and they're going back to Ireland as well, which is something that they, you know, with Snapper and with the Commitments, it's something that they really, you know, it's a niche that they've done. So I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, it's a script and a couple of the actors that are mates of mine. So you've got to support your pals.
Do you think this might bring back memories about when we were growing up? Like The Commitments came out, it was massive, wasn't it? The Commitments, and it really brought Irish cinema to the fore, didn't it? Do you think this will have a similar effect?
I think the difference being that The Commitments was current at the time. You know, and then this is in retrospect, so it'll be interesting to see how they recapture that sort of the first recession that me and you remember. You know, the sort of early '80s, mid '80s recession, and then and doing it 20 years later. So to see how they do it in retrospect, whereas The Commitments was a sort of here and now film. Yeah, it's very current, but still brilliant. You know.
What's your thing for?
Paramount Pictures presents the truish story of two brothers.
How involved were you in the filmmaking process on this? Was it an advisory role, or was it more than that during the making of it?
I wasn't really involved at all. You know, I sold them the rights to my book and I got out of the way. You know, we spent a lot of the 80s getting in our own way, and this time I thought, these people wanted to make a film, you know, let them make the film.
And of course, your book was I Was Bono's Doppelganger. Doppelganger is well, I looked it up, a ghost haunting somebody. Does that come out in the movie?
The idea was that Bono was my evil twin. And it came from a conversation where he actually said to me, I'm your doppelganger, and if you want your life back, you'll have to kill me. But Bono always said I should call the book Killing Bono, because it's about slaying your dragons. So that's where they've gone with in this film. You know, he did start to weigh a little heavily on me. The more he became successful and the more we were unsuccessful, it became a little struggle, and that is the heart of the comedy of the movie.
As music critics and budding rock stars, why would we want to see this movie? How would you sell this movie to me and to the general public?
It's a movie about young people just trying to make it, and it's very realistic in that way. It shows how difficult it can be, the trials and tribulations. They made a lot of comedy out of it, but I mean, there is a lot of comedy in it from the outside. It's not so funny when you're living it, but when you sit and watch it for 2 hours, it is quite amusing.
It's a comedy of failure, and most people know a lot more about failure than they do success.
What are your abiding memories growing up as a young man in the 1980s?
Well, obviously, I remember U2 very fondly. No, well, I mean, like, I was taking an awful lot of substances at the time, you understand, so my memory is a little murky at times. No, that's not true at all. I remember, Mulligan's. I remember O'Neill's on Poolbeg Street. It's mostly based around pubs and theatre and music.
Did it bring any personal memories back for you while you were playing the character in the dress and, of course, the music of the time?
Music of the time, yeah. I remember my fellow I shared rooms with in Trinity, because I went to Trinity College Dublin. He got the early U2 albums. I thought he was nuts, you know. So I remember listening to those first early albums when I was thinking about life and the universe and everything in Trinity College Dublin when I was about 18 or 19.
I'm beginning to think I need a ladder tonight. Everybody seems so much taller than me tonight. Just down a bit. Yeah. Peter, how did you get involved with this movie?
I was sent the script and then I auditioned for Nick, and he said I could have quite a bit of fun with the character in the audition. We went on for like about 2 hours. I was like, oh, by the end of it, you know, I was like, come on. But it was great fun though, you know. I was bouncing around the room doing all kinds of silly things. But yeah, he's a larger-than-life character. I don't know why I use that cliched phrase there, but nothing's larger than life except death is larger than life. But he just said I could have a lot of fun with this character, and then I saw everybody that was involved. The script was really funny, and thought, wow, I'm gonna get a chance to work with Pete Postlethwaite, and that was, that was a real honor.
I could have been in orbit with the best band in the world. What do you want me to say? That you made the worst decision of my life.
You have a nice time there, Robert?
So are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to see you again.
And you?
I saw you last Sunday. Was at the Turtles' Tales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a surprising amount of glitz and glamour around that. I was wonderfully surprised. Me and Christine Bleakley, holding each other, embracing each other in front of the poster. I was very proud.
You are a very adapted actor. You can sort of really make a fictional character your own, but how have you been able to transfer your skills into portraying a live person still?
Well, I think the idea was, how we started was, we didn't meet Neil or Ivan before doing this film. We didn't play them, we didn't kind of impersonate them or depict them in any sense. We just kind of struck up our own dynamic, myself and Ben, in a small room in London, figured out how best to argue and how best to kind of be, and we only actually met them close to the end of filming, so we played extremely exaggerated versions of the two guys, and they hopefully will thank us for it, or else we've just ruined their reputations to everyone who doesn't know them.
Because the script is loosely based on fact, have you been able to do that and play it a bit more, play the character up a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, again, we basically through the energy of myself and Ben, very much like a With Nail and I rip-off, we kind of just went with it. I mean, to be honest with you, this film, for anyone who's interested, is a series of arguments from start to finish, but comedically choreographed. So, that was what we really focused on,
As an actor, you're playing a role where, from an era that you didn't grow up in. How do you prepare for something like that?
Yeah, I was very, very young. I mean, I was in nappies when you two were at school, basically. But I mean, I was raised on the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and the Eagles and Dire Straits and all the kind of joke bands in the film, really. And my dad is a massive rock and roll fan, and so I'd kind of grown up with it from the womb, I think. And so to be strutting around, I thought, as I was reading it, actually, there was many reasons I've given today, the reasons I did the film, but one of them was certainly, as I was reading it, I thought, Dad would love to watch me do this.
Could you see yourself going down a different road here? Because I saw a clip of you just recently on stage in a live performance. You're obviously really getting into that. Is that sort of thing you want to get into?
Oh, you mean, yeah, there was
live music?
Yeah, well, that was a slightly pissed performance from an after-show party, which was completely unrehearsed and thrown upon me at the last minute. But yeah, I loved it. I mean, two or three of the best weeks of my life recording the soundtrack. Because you do all the music for the film before you shoot the film. And I thought the songs were terrific, and they kind of had a bit of a modern flavour to them, but also they felt very kind of 70s, 80s in their genre as well. And just to kind of, Joe Echo wrote all the songs, teaching me how to sing, kind of stayed in rock and punk and new romantic, and watching all these videos of all these great frontmen and kind of channeling them, but not having to be, the pressure was off because I didn't have to be that good at it. Yeah, I loved it.
Who didn't find what they were looking for?
None of us did.
I'm telling people they're the next U2, only better looking and gay.
Well, that's it from the UK premiere about two brothers who are nearly better than the real thing.
Join us next time. We are Premier League.
Ben Barnes, Robert Sheehan, killing Bono.
You heard the song. I mean, is he taking a piss now or what? He still hasn't found what he's looking for. He has got everything he ever wanted.